Wow. You go, wait a minute, let me tell you that again, just in case you missed it. I will down the road, throughout this series, show you how you'll be communicating many topics which have nothing to do with your product or service which you're selling. And by doing so, you increase drastically the chance of hitting reality and agreement with that person. And by doing so, affinity, meaning he likes you. Ladies and gentlemen, why do you think so much business is done on the golf course? Have you ever heard that? I know you have, because almost everywhere I go, they have heard. Not almost, everywhere I go, they have heard it. And they have told me so. Yes, it's true. Why? Because on the golf course, you talk a lots of bullshit. Yes, you talk about the business and about this, and we all men, especially us men, we're boring people, I think. Hi, who are you? What business are you in? And so we talk about that, fine. But then we also talk other stuff, kids, education. We talk different business practices which have nothing to do with the actual business we're in it, and we create affinity. We talk about the grass. Obviously, it's the golf course. Why shouldn't you, right? So one way or the way, we will be creating high reality with your potential customers, way more than you now think. And also by talking constantly about other stuff with your patient, be the patient or be the client or customer, whatever in your field the customer is called. By talking a lots of other things which have nothing to do with your business, you always, not only do you create the normal reality which living demands, you also can use that as constantly new entrance point for opening the door, because it's very tedious to always keep asking the same thing. Buy from me, buy from me, buy from me. I'm going to get back to that again. This is the reality, affinity and reality triangle. It is so powerful in life, unbelievable. And again, is it easy to do all the time, to keep communicating? Because every so often when there's major disagreement, low affinity, it is not that easy to enter communication. Or to enter communication, just look at it with your spouse. You want to start a communication about a topics where you know sparks will fly. Not the good sparks either, the bad ones. So it's kind of like you go, wait a minute, communicating about it makes things worse. Not true. The way out is the way through. Putting it under the carpet isn't the way to go. You've got to communicate and be honest. How often, if you had a particular disagreement with your spouse, how often after communicating with great difficulties and lots of fighting or whatever you want to call it, all of a sudden you rise above it, and wholly and behold, you find out that you meant the same thing in the first place. You really didn't have a disagreement, you misunderstood each other. I don't know if it happened to you, but it happens to me a lot. So, communicating is the way to go, even if it looks sometimes like starting communication creates problems. You keep communicating and keep communicating. That's how you will get your point across. The other person gets the point across, and all of a sudden you start having reality. Sometimes the reality is, on this point we disagree, and you can be both relaxed, whether that is a business partner, a prospect, or your spouse. And keep in mind, I told you, doing these things like starting a communication when there's already disagreement and all that stuff is not always easy. And just because I teach it and practice it and I'm extremely happy in it, that does not mean it is always easy to do. Nobody says that, but you've got to work on it, and it becomes natural and it becomes beautiful. This can change your life. It will change your life. Keep it in mind, this is something at work, some phenomena at work, which you and me, like the law of gravity, simply cannot disobey. We can disobey it, but then it will catch us. Just like if you disobey and jump off a 20-story building, you'll be dead. You can say the law of gravity doesn't exist, you can do anything you want, your body will be dead. You as a spirit will be alive maybe, but you as a body are dead. Disobey this, and all hell will break loose. You will not have enough friends. Friends will not become friends. In fact, just show that if you stop communicating with a good friend, let's assume you went to college with a good friend. You were holding hands, you were buddy-buddy. You couldn't live without, you know, speaking to each other 5 times a day, 100 times a day on the cell phone. Of course, in your time, most likely you watching this, there was no cell phones, but you know what I'm talking about. And then you moved away. Different city maybe. Maybe not even different city, but anyway, family, work, and you talk very, very, very little. After 15 or 20 years, 5 years. Don't tell me the affinity is the same. Because if you do, you're saying that in some type of glib form. Because it isn't. It's not possible to still care the same for the person. Why? Because your reality about the person is not the same. You're barely talking to him. I have plenty of those friends living in the United States and being born in Austria. I went to engineering school there in machinery engineering. Those people have a different reality than me, who worked 25 to 30 jobs in 4 continents and is traveling all the time. I have a different reality than they who work in the same 2,000 people village, literally the same job. See what I'm saying? Yes, it doesn't mean that when I go back there, a couple of them I still talk and affinity goes up, and if I would be there a lot, affinity would go back up relatively fast again for quite a while. Yes, I agree. But while you're not talking, it goes down, and that's the whole point. If you then start talking again to your old friend, chances are affinity goes up very high. And sometimes you will realize it doesn't, because you will realize he has a total different reality. Maybe he became a little crook. Maybe he whatever, maybe he changed his wife every 4 years and you don't agree with that, and you just cannot be anymore having a high liking. Why? Because there's a low reality. Ladies and gentlemen, this is marketing at its best. This is living life at its best. If you're married 20 years and your marriage is, you think, getting stale, surprise your wife tomorrow and start talking and talking and talking and talking and talking and talking. And after you start talking and talking and talking, talk a little bit more. Now, she might first kind of like wonder, what the hell is going on? Did you just cheat on her or him or whatever it was? You know, she might come up with, you know, like, what is wrong with you? Well, you just keep talking and talking and talking and talking and talking, and pretty soon you'll be back where you were 20-some years ago, you know, being all excited about seeing each other, because during that time you talked and talked and talked and talked. So let's start talking and talking and talking to our prospective clients out there, and they will be ours. They will be in our pocket. They will have high agreement with us. They will love us and we will love them, and that's what it is all about. See you in the next video.